So obviously you've just sang and opened our show at the Roots Festival, that's under Top Bar as well. Obviously thanks, it's an amazing performance that you did. Just want to learn a little bit more about you, Sarah. So how do you write your songs? Like what sort of structure do you follow?
I think it's just a standard structure, to be honest. So I write about what I really need to say, but I'm perhaps not quite so articulate in real life. And once you're organising something into a song, it really sort of flows a lot more elegantly, doesn't it? And you can say exactly what you want to say. So usually it's very much feelings and thoughts driven, and it's something I've just got to get out. And structurally, you know, it's just the usual old-fashioned formula most of the time. You know, make sure you've got some decent verses and choruses in, make it as hooky as you possibly can as well. You know, don't just restrict yourself to one hook. You know, see how many you can get in there into a song, and just really try and connect with people as well, because you're a human, you're going through usual human emotions, and you're probably going to touch on something that somebody else has gone through as well, maybe not exactly the same way, but you know, similar. So my aim really is to try and have somebody listen and think, I can relate to that actually. So do you tend to find more the lyrics first, or is it the music, like obviously the melody behind it, or they come together? They very often come together. So I don't actually play anything well. I can play a few chords on the guitar, I can tinkle a few notes on the piano, but I'm not actually performance standard in anything. So I really have to just rely on my instincts, and they've served me really, really well so far. So that's how I go.
So obviously we're all different in our own way, so it's quite interesting just to obviously know how you do things. Obviously you've got a new song that's out at the moment. It only came out last week.
It was 16th of May. So if you're in country, you usually have to write about whiskey or a broken heart, or your truck. Obviously you've got to have a truck if you're in country. Now I don't have those. I don't have a truck, and I don't have you know, I don't drink whiskey. I go home and drink tea usually. I'm drinking squash today. So generally speaking, I've only got heartbreak to work with, so I tend to write about that. But this new song is actually leaving that aside, so that I don't have to bleed on stage for every song. And it's more about, you know, trying to be a decent person, you know, trying to think about your impact on people, trying to make sure that you tread carefully. And you're conscious, you're acting consciously all the time rather than just reacting to situations and things.
So big influences for your music, have you got any like artists that inspire you at all?
So sort of early influences were people like Fleetwood Mac, but I've not been country that long, in all honesty.
Okay, so it's quite a new. How long would you say?
So I actually started writing country back in 2021. I was singing a cover, Bon Jovi cover, online, and somebody saw me and decided to sign me, which was great. And he said, Sarah, do you realise every song that you write is actually a country song? And I was trying to send it down more the sort of poppy kind of route, and it wasn't really working in that kind of way production-wise. So as soon as I had that light bulb moment, or I was enlightened, should I say, then it just really, really flowed really well.
The good thing is now as well, obviously country music's really taken off at the moment. So you're probably hitting the sweet spot at the minute.
Well, you'd say that. So I actually wrote my whole country album, and I was so lucky I was able to go over to Nashville and work with a really top producer called Fred Mollin. And he has worked with Jimmy Webb, Chris Christopherson, he's worked with J.D. Souther, who did the Eagles songs, and somehow or other he wanted to work with me, which is absolutely amazing.
So you're brilliant.
Thank you. So I went and recorded that album, and I did really well. I released it in April 2023, and it hit number 4 in the iTunes country chart, which was a miracle. I don't know how, but now country's got cool, so everybody's listening to country, perhaps people who weren't into country before, and so it's made it so much more difficult now for independent artists to actually get onto the charts in any way and make any kind of impact, because they're all listening to Beyonce doing her album, and she was obviously never country either. So yeah.
Well, thank you for your time. I know the next act is going to be starting shortly. You can hear him starting in the background. But,
That's right.
Yeah, and it's the first time I've met you, so hopefully I will see you again in the future.
I know, and I can't wait to hear your set as well.
Are you staying?
Yeah, I'll be here.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you.